Welcome to Fishing Dorset Live.
Good morning. Happy Easter. Today's Sunday. I've come locally down to the ferry, hoping for early bass. I mean, it is a little bit early yet for us to start spinning. But what I'm going to basically show you this morning is how I set up for lure fishing at the ferry. It works for a few places, but this is the setup I know that works for me here today. It's overcast, it's a little bit cold, but it's a beautiful morning and there's not many people about. That's what I like to do. So what I'm going to do is basically show you my setup for lure fishing for bass, and maybe we might just be able to pull one out as well, which would really be nice for the video. But it's basically showing my bass setup, which is so simple. Don't complicate things when you go fishing, there's no need to. And when you see my setup, it's simple. So basically what I've got today: beads, Sakuma size 1 hooks, 2 and 3 ounce ball heads. Right, lure wise, there's a lot of choices out there, but from what I know, what works for me down here is the red gills. I've got a big bag, I always buy in bulk, but what I've got choices of colours as well. So you've got like a luminous green, like your clears, your reds, your oranges and your blacks. Now, I always seem to have success with the whites. If I don't, I normally change over to a coloured one. The other thing is a swivel. This sounds a bit weird, but this works for me. I use a high prom pike. This has been one of my best spinning rods ever. Down to a Penn Supercast Fierce 2. I've got 18-pound braid. I don't use any shock leader, it's just straight braid to a swivel to obviously your ball head. So I'll get a bit of slack line out and I'll basically show you how I set this up. It's not a very big tide today, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to only use a 2 ounce ball head. Obviously if it's a spring tide, you're going to want to put a 3 ounce on if you can hold the bottom. So what I do first is I put the bead. The reason for the bead going on first is when you reel in, if you forget what you're doing and you keep reeling, you're going to smash your top eye. So the bead should stop doing that. So it's the bead. 2 ounce ball head, which I make myself. Feed that through the braid. Obviously it's going to be a bit hard to see. Down to a swivel. Feed the bead through the swivel. And then obviously whatever knots you will use for your braids. And I'll flip that round, pull it, and then what I'll do, I'll just trim that little tag off. And this is I'm not sure what the knot's called, but it works for me. But look at that. That is a beautiful, tiny little knot to the swivel. Then what I do, I use nylon. I got 15-pound nylon. So what I do is I tie that on to the swivel again, to the opposite side of the swivel. And then drop it all. But it's a funny light today. It's a really funny on your eyes. It's one of those put your sunglass days on even though the sun's not out. So basically I put the nylon through, I wrap it around once, twice, 3, 4 times. So I've wrapped it around 4 times. I get the other end and I put it back through the loop. Like that, if you can see, hopefully. And then what I do is I go back through the other hoop. Bit of sweat. Pull it tight. And you've got a beautiful little knot. Obviously take the tag off again. You don't want tags hanging about on there. And then just basically nip the tag off. And obviously pick your rubbish up when you finish. Now what I tend to do, I stretch it out basically to an arm's length. Cut it off. Oh, my line's gone under my van, I'll get that back in a minute. And then basically get your red gill, main line, and you feed it inside the red gill, out the other side, get yourself a hook ready. So like I say, I'm using a Sakuma size 1. There's no sponsorship or nothing, it's just what I use. I tend to find they're a good hook. Then obviously what you do is you get your hook, you do the same process again. So line through, once, twice, 3, 4 times through, back through the first loop by the hook, and then feed it back through the second one. Give it a good old wetting, pull it tight, take the tag here off, but there we go. Really neat. Then all you do is you basically slide the red gill so the hook's inside like that. That is absolutely perfect for me. Now what you can do is obviously, if you've got a little bit of bait with you, well, obviously the tide's running out now, we're basically on slack water now, I'm waiting to fish it when that tide comes back in. But what you can do, if you've got a bit of slack water, you've got a bit of bait, you slide the lure up to the swivel, and then what you do is you push. Now that lure will stay there, and then what you do is you can put your bait straight onto that hook. So it's a nice little tip for you. It saves you stripping all your gear down. Then all you do is when you're ready, when that tide starts running, slide the hook back down, bob your teapot, and you're ready for your bass fishing. Right, let's hopefully we can pull some out. It is early. I don't normally start till about April, but you never know. We have had a lot of bass around Poole lately. Obviously my previous video, I fished in a storm, which was Storm Nelson. I don't know whether the video out would be before this one. So just keep your eye out for a Storm Nelson video. I had an absolute cracking session. I'll just give you a quick look around where I am. But there are other places to fish for bass. It's just I'm with my wife this morning. She's gone off for a nice walk down the beach. I was doing my little setup and my little intro on the old bar flare. Certainly a big old shit, really big shit. But basically what this video is about this morning is basically just showing you a really basic, easy setup of how I bass fish Poole Harbour. Hopefully there might be a bit of content, but like I did say, it's a bit early. So yeah, it's just showing my setup, showing a bit of Poole Harbour. But look at the size of it, it is an absolute beast. And you compare it to the ferry, which is there, and it absolutely towers it. Condor Ferries is gone out probably about half an hour ago as well. And like I say, I should be in Guernsey this weekend, but due to weather, I cancelled and just basically rescheduled. But look at that. Absolutely huge vessel that is. Right, tide's just turned. Quick refresh, 1 red gilt, and I'm down to a 2-ounce ball head. Obviously the tide's not running too much at the moment, but I can change it up if it does rip through to a 3-ounce, and obviously the bead, which stops it clipping the top eye. Now what I do, there ain't a lot of tide at the moment, it has just turned, but what I'll do, I'll cast it out and just give it a quick go. Right, now what I do, I cast it out and I wait for the line to go tight. Once that line goes tight, I let it feed through my fingers. Now as soon as that ball lead hits the bottom of the tide, you will feel it bounce on the bottom. I just give it a little flick and then basically give it a retrieve. It's a bit like mackerel fishing really, this is what works for me. But like I say, this is a bit early, so if we get one it'd be a big bonus. But this video is just basically showing you a setting that I use and works for me. There's a few seagulls working over there, but I need that tide to pull a lot harder at the moment. It's only just turned. And obviously I've got my Lavelle mic on this morning, there's no chance of my radio mic falling in the water, it's in my pocket. Obviously the Lavelle mic, I think it's called, you basically clip it onto your collar. It's got a lead on it, so there's no chance of it ever coming off. So basically cast it out again. Nice long cast there. And I basically let the tide pull it. And at the moment the tide is pulling it, but I might have to go up to a 3 ounce on the next one. So just let the tide pull it, let it run through your fingers. As soon as you know it's on the bottom, just give it a few seconds, just to trot. You'll feel it bouncing on the bottom, and then a nice retrieve again. But it's not really pulling at the moment. So what I'll do is I'm going to sit and have a nice coffee. There's a nice little cafe at the ferry, and it's beautiful coffee, absolutely beautiful coffee. So I'm going to sit and have a coffee with the wife, and then see if we can actually get a bass on the video. I'll give it one more go. There's a lot of seagulls working. I mean, the mackerel are about there. People are catching mackerel. So it's the same process again, just cast it out. Normally cast it up the tide a bit, and then the tide will bring it round. And then obviously weight, yeah, there's not enough tide at the moment. It's not really pulling to my weight too much. But like I say, I'm only going to fish an hour of the running. But you never know, you could get mackerel on the lure as well. It's not just bass lure. You'll get pollock. We've had pollock on these lures. But right, I'm going to go and have my coffee while it's nice and hot. But there we go, that basically shows you my principle of how I try for bass. And like I say, it is a bit early, we don't normally start until about April time. So right, I'm going to put my rod down and I'm going to get myself a nice coffee. Right, that tide has picked up a bit more now. So let's see if we can winkle out any size bass. Obviously when you do fish here, just watch the steps behind. They are green and they're wet and they are very, very slippy. So just be careful. But yeah, the tide's picked up now quite nicely. So we have got a chance of maybe getting a bass. Just waiting for my lead to bounce on the bottom. I'll let a little bit more line out. Yeah, the tide's pulling that beautiful now. Nice retrieve. Wind's picked up obviously because the tide's running. And the sky looks like it's going to absolutely shut down. Like I say, just retrieve. It's basically like mackerel fishing really, just a nice gentle pull back. And then see if we can get anything out. But you can alter it, you could just reel it in, just nice and gently. Obviously when you're quite close in, there's no need to, and I'll just stag myself on the side of the wall there. Let me just get the little bit of weed off the hook. But like I say, this is very early for lure fishing. And obviously you can go around the corner and fish off the groins as well with the same process as what I'm doing. Or you can use like your surface lures. Your black minnows and bits and pieces like that, which I'm just learning to do. I mean, this process I'm doing now, I know how to do this. But I am learning to use surface lures, slow jigs. But that tide is now pulling that round. But doing this, you've got to be prepared to lose gear. You will get snagged here and you will lose a lot of gear. So hence why I've got a big bag of lures this morning. I always got a load of red gills. I buy them in bulk. They're not cheap. Red gills are not cheap, but they work. They mightn't work today, but I'm giving it a go like I have done for the last 3 weeks. I've been down here for about an hour on the tide, and I'll keep coming until I know. A little bit of white weed on there, until I know those bass are feeding. Then obviously I can come after work, I can fish the tides, or I could come down early morning and get an hour session in before work. So it does work really well. But yeah, that's all I do is cast it out, up a tide a little bit, feed the line through your fingers. You'll feel it bounce the bottom. You'll see the rod tip just gently bouncing. And if you don't, just hold the line, lift the rod up a little bit, and then you will feel it bounce. And then exactly the same process again. Just give it a retrieve. Like I say, it would be nice to get one out this morning, but I've not got my hopes up. But it's a little bit of a tutorial for people to watch, and then hopefully they'll have success as well on lures. But you can get like ragaloos and stuff like that which work down here. Feathering for bass as well. You can feather for bass. But it's just nice getting out on a Sunday morning for an hour, have a coffee with the wife, and just chill for an hour really. It's really nice. Especially living local. I am spoilt to be honest. But right, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna finish my coffee off, and then we'll go back down and we'll give it another go. Got up to a 3-ounce ball head. I should be able to get to the bottom a bit quicker. Obviously this isn't a big spring tide. When it does kick up a big spring tide here, it's impossible to fish. So this is the last chance saloon. Let me see if I can get one bass out for the video. If not, at least you get a bit of a tutorial of how I do this. yeah, that's sinking a lot better, much better. Oh yeah, I can actually feel it now bouncing across the bottom. But what I normally do is I'll probably let it hit the bottom. I'll give it about 30 seconds just to get a little bit of distance across the bottom. Obviously the lure's bouncing, and sometimes you do get a take when that lure sinks, which is quite nice when you get that. I've had it a few times. I've had hits as it's sinking. But yeah, that tide's absolutely pulling now. But it's now about 9:30, and this is the last go when I get home. Got a nice roast dinner today. And like I said earlier, happy Easter everybody, and I hope you all have a good weekend this weekend. Let's give this another cast out. But yeah, people are picking up now, it's getting busier. I could stay and fish all this tide, but I can't be bothered with too many people about. It's absolutely mayhem down here in the summer. It's not nice, but obviously it brings money into the town, which is nice. But I'll show you the crap that anglers leave on the floor in a minute, and I will pick it up and I'll show you where the bins are. There's no reason to do it at all. But yeah, oh yeah, that's bouncing beautifully on the bottom now. Yeah, that was a good choice, that 3-ounce lead. But like I say, I have been trying for the last few weeks, and it is a bit early. But I have been hitting the bass on the beaches inside Poole Harbour. So they are about, and obviously April the 1st, if you want, you can keep 2 a day. But it's really rare I keep fish. I do it for the fun. It's nice watching big bass go back. Like my Storm Nelson video, watching them swim off, it's absolutely brilliant. But it don't look like it's going to happen this morning. Oh, my lure's all tangled up. My hook's actually gone inside the, I don't know how the hell it's done that, but the hook's actually gone inside the bead. So don't pull it hard, just gently, it will unravel itself like that. If you pull it hard, if it's got a knot, you're going to knot it right up, which isn't good. I'll probably have one more cast after this, and then we're going to knock it on the head. And me and the wife are going to head home. We've had a nice coffee from the cafe around the corner. They do food. You can sit down in there as well. All cooked food, pastries, drinks. The prices are not too bad, to be fair. They don't whack the prices up in the summer, which is nice. It's the same price all the year round. They do close for a couple of days. I think it's a couple of weeks, whatever it is in the winter. Obviously there's nobody about, so it'll probably cost them more to keep the cafe open with not a lot of customers. But yeah, absolutely no takes this morning, absolutely nothing. There's a bit of blue sky up there, but the rest of it isn't looking good. Right, I'm gonna give this one more go. And then I'll show you the crap that people leave on the floor when they fish out. And it's not tourists, it's locals. Which isn't good. They should know better when they fish down here. There's too many dogs about. There's birds about. If they leave a hook with bait on it, a bird's going to take it, and obviously a bird's going to get that hook stuck in it, and it's not going to get it out. I'm going to let this one run a bit longer in the tide. it'd be really nice to get one out for the video, but like I say, this is too early. It's way too early to do this style of fishing where I am. I'd have probably been better doing it inside Poole Harbour on soft plastics or surface lures. But this is the last chance saloon. I'll give it one more. This is the last one. I think we're supposed to have a few showers today as well. But absolutely not a take, not one take. I'm only going to fish like an hour of the run up. I could stay and fish that run, but I'm not going to. I don't want to annoy the wife by staying out too long. Oh, snagged the slip by that. Yeah, snagged the slip weight. But right, that's it. That's a good hour out this morning. I'm going to pack up, make a move home. I'll just quickly show you. You'll have to bear with me so I don't turn the camera off. I'll show you what people leave behind. I will be picking it up and I will be putting it in the bin. Let me just put my rod down and I'll show you what actually people leave down here. And there's no reason to do it. If I can pick it up. Fishing line. More fishing line. And the last time I come down here I picked a load of hooks up. There are bins around here you can put your rubbish in. There's absolutely no need for it at all. But many thanks for watching. It's just a little video for an insight of how I bass fish. Obviously, hopefully I'll get a video of hooking a few bass, doing my method. It's been a nice morning out, nice coffee. Bit of a chill out as well. But there are a lure video on my channel from me fishing this same mark catching bass. You'll have to go back, there's quite a few videos back, but you'll see the same process. But today I've gone into a little bit more depth, I've got a little bit more time today. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have success using my method. It's so simple. Just don't complicate things. It's as easy as that. So just remember, if you're on a neap side, 2 ounce lead. If it's a spring side, hit a 3 ounce lead. Catch you on the next one, guys. Many thanks for watching.